What's the name of the leader of our order?
Ripley.
We'll get there.
Okay.
All right.
Ripley, that's the name of the leader.
I still can't believe Kai killed a drake all by himself.
God
It's
damn it,
amazing.
Kai.
Every time I consider it, it's amazing.
All right. Welcome to session 1 of our open beta playthrough of Daggerheart by Darrington Press. We are Dead Sons Company. Head over to deadsonsco.com and patreon.com/Dead Sons Company to support us if you like our content. Buckle up. Here we go. All right. To start us off, guys, I just want to go around the table. And just do an intro to yourself. Everybody have Foundry pulled up. We're going to be using that for this one. Cool. I'll call you out. You just say your player name, your character name, class, subclass, heritage, and what you do for the Order of Eventide. A few of our characters, if you tuned into Session 0, did make a few changes, so don't be surprised if a few things are different. Gerard or Alex, go for it.
I don't care for going first, but
I don't care.
my character is Gerard Graves. He's an old-ass Galapa. He's lore-born. He prefers to be called Lord King, but I don't think anybody here is going to do that. We'll see how that goes. My subclass is Vengeance.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm basically a giant tortoise, and I'm covered in plate armor. I got a mace and a tower shield. I'm pretty much the meat bag of the group to absorb the damage. And what was the last thing?
What you do for the Order.
All right.
If you don't remember, just tag me in, Coach.
Yeah, we discussed this earlier today, and I am going to tag you in.
Okay. Gerard has just come back from a post, an unofficial post, where he served as a squire for a Knight of the Order. He has recently heard through the rumor mill that he may be accepting a position as a full knight in the Order of Eventide, but has not heard yet from the leader of the Order.
My turtle head is growing immensely in anticipation.
Ripley, or Carl. We have Carl playing Ripley.
That's not alphabetical.
I don't care.
Okay.
This is epic fantasy. I don't give a shit.
Sure. We have our own alphabet.
Alphabet goes whatever way you
I'm
want.
Carl. I'm playing Ripley. He is a Seaborn Rivet Nightwalker rogue. And he's mostly in the, if you ask him, he's mostly in the Order for moral support.
Officially an aspirant trying to become a knight, but we'll see. All right, Mike.
Yes. So I am playing Oxley Spurbane, a Ridgeborn giant. He goes by Ox. What else did you want to know?
It's up on the screen. Yeah, it's in
What
Foundry.
screen?
In Foundry, if you look at the little text box to the right, I put out the things I want from you.
Look at that.
Because
Okay.
things.
Where is it? Is heritage my path? I forget. Heritage is the combination of ancestry and community.
Yeah.
I hope you're ready,
Got it.
Justin. You literally laid it out in front of us, and we're still fucking it up. So
I just lay out the opening scene. Everything behind it is just blank. It's just a big green screen. Don't worry about it.
So then I chose warrior and path called the Slayer. And I'm a big, dumb, giant custodian who cleans up messes, quite literally.
That all you fuckers make constantly. All right,
And
Brad.
my change from character creation was from the knuckle dusters to the mop handle / warhammer.
That's good to call out too. Brad.
Oh, hi. I'm Brad. Some of you who have watched before might recognize that I had to GM the Tainted Hive, and by that I mean I get to, and we get to do it again someday.
And now it's payback time for you to me.
You damn right. So my name is Brad. I've been playing games with these guys for quite some time. I am playing as Conero Myces Coldari, Wildborn Fungril, Warden of Renewal Druid. And my role within the order is that Nero, as he goes by, has been a healer and mortician for the Order of the Eventide, while also cultivating lots of yeast and baking delicious breads. So,
A weird
with the love.
combination.
it's a weird. Hey, you know what? Death begets life, my man. Death begets life. We're all just fertilizer in the end for the loaf.
Last but certainly not least, Eric.
I'm Eric. I am playing Kai Azurepaw. I am playing a Ranger Wayfinder, and he is a Simia Wildborn. And in the order, he is a scout and helps with the scouting aspects of the order.
Sick. And he killed a drake once. Or at least
Totally
Gerard believes he did.
Completely did.
fully, totally convinced he killed it.
All right. I also apologize in advance, you guys, if my voice goes out at any point. Just ask me to repeat it, because I am just getting to the end of a throat cold here. So hopefully I don't sound like absolute shit by the end of the night, but we'll see.
Suffer for the art. Suffer for the art.
Scream
now-
suffer, surface dweller.
And now for my dumb monologue that you have to listen through to get you in the right mindset. Tidriel looks east to the sun as it rises above the rocky shore of the Sea of Clouds. Westward, the city fringes are wrapped in the golden fields and folds of the high country hills. Tidriel is a bustling city of fair trade, magical intrigue, and honorific political venture. Tall hexagonal towers of sandy-colored stone bathed in the golden light of the sun stand vigil at the edge of the fog-covered shore. Rippled communities furl out in circular patterns of parkways and avenues lined with trees and shrubbery, lush with the resolve of her devoted people. The Order of Eventide's stronghold stands high on a hill beside the bustling city of Tidriel. On the edge of the Sea of Clouds, the thick ocean of fog curls and creeps ashore. Sky chariots led by sky-striding griffins depart into the vast expanse of cloud and sky toward the white and blue mingling of the horizon. Now, the stronghold itself is much like a star fort, also known as a bastion fort. There is a journal entry if you want to see it, to see kind of what I'm talking about. I knew it was kind of a niche thing to mention. The outer walls form an 8-pointed star, and at each point, a triangular tower overlooks the walls on either side of itself. Around the walls is a wide clearing of open grass that steps downward like a hillside field toward the wall, kind of forming like a moat, but with no water. Each one of those little moat areas has retaining walls that people can use as cover to pop out and shoot bow and arrow or pistol, whatever they choose to have. Inside, the outer wall is hollowed with rooms that serve various rotating purposes such as trade, ammunition storage, religious rites, and custodial supplies. An oval-shaped structure at the center of the stronghold forms a wide road between the outer wall and the central structure. That serves as kind of the keep of this fort, this stronghold. It's in this structure that all of the vital functions of the stronghold are. All of the food storage and functional tools. The well is in the center. And at the very center, the training ground and the hall where a throne sits. At each cardinal direction of that big inner structure is another tower that stands taller than the outer walls so they can shoot down. It's a very defendable structure. Ox. Your little cart's wheel squeaks its way down the stone corridor as you make your way to your morning meeting to assign your staff their daily rounds.
Ooh.
Describe how Oxley Spurbane begins his day, having just collected his cart of tools for the day and making his way to his job as the custodian of the Order of Eventide.
He lumbers is what he does. On his way to the meeting, you know, if he spotted any trash, he would for sure go out of his way spot clean stuff on his way. How many staff do I have?
It's a small staff. You just have 3 regulars, but every day, anybody who's misbehaved in the stronghold or sometimes even the city of Tidriel gets sent to do latrine duty or like the dirtiest jobs so that you and your main staff don't actually have to do it.
Fantastic.
So as you enter the room, do you address your small staff and the other probably aspirants who are in punishment right now, probably on latrine duty or some other thing?
Who am I seeing in there besides the normal 3? Like how many guilty little shits do I have to
you have
deal
your
with?
normal 3, and we will say, and I'm gonna my first chance. You have 2 people who are in trouble for something or another. One of them's got a black eye.
Just address the room. Welcome to our new young aspirants here who finally have gotten accepted into the halls of custodial duties. What are you here for?
A young Simia named I'm Alpa. I was throwing shit at the lunch table. Kind of looks down.
That was you.
Yeah, it wasn't my shit, to be fair.
Well, neither will this be. You're on latrine duty.
Shit. I mean, fuck. I mean, god damn it.
No swearing.
Sorry.
Fucker.
And the other one is a male fawn. Very young, looks shy, has a black eye, kind of looks at his hoofs.
You slippery little shit in the back. What did you do?
It looks like he's having a hard time answering you. Roll an instinct check for me.
First roll. Shit. All right. 5 and a 1. Where's my instinct?
Which one's 5 and which one's 1? Is that with hope or fear?
Oh, geez. Light colors, hope. Okay, so 5 is hope. 1 would be fear.
And then 5 is the total?
6 is the total.
Okay, so 6 with hope. You gain a hope. So in Foundry, if you're tracking it, I think we should just all track it there. You can click at the top and on your name, and then that little window will pop up. You can add 1 hope to your tracker there.
There he is.
He looks at his feet even harder, and he starts to piss himself as you close in on him, not realizing that he looks very scared of you. You're humongous. He's a very small fawn boy. He's very skinny.
I think we'll start you on taters.
Thank you.
Taters.
Thank you. Kind of just starts to wipe a tear away.
And I point over to the dickhead who's going over to the latrines. You, police him up. That's now a latrine. And what am I supposed to do after this? What does Ox normally get up to?
You're basically in charge of keeping things clean and tidy. Sometimes you delegate all of your duties to your 3 main staff and whatever aspirants are there in trouble. Sometimes you do the work yourself.
Okay.
You do enjoy sparring. It's still before breakfast, so you're not really responsible for anything right this second. But when breakfast time comes around, people start vomiting and pooping, so it's all you, bud.
Okay. I am going to set my staff to their normal duties, and then I would like to start making my way towards the, I guess, master's area, the leader of the order's area. Start from the top down, cleaning.
Okay. You know the leader of the order quite well. She goes by... She is Lady Estona Sil-Atanri. I can drop that somewhere here. Drop it in Foundry chat for you guys. She is an early riser. You are in no danger of waking her up. As you make your way to her hall, Gerard, your bunk is shared with 4 other aspirants, each younger and greener than yourself.
That's unfortunate.
But they're all good lads.
They're all
right. The sun shines in through a very small window near the ceiling, and you get into your morning routine before you head to the training yard. What does Gerard do in his morning routine, and kind of what does he look like?
Well, I am a Galapa, so I have a giant shell. With the GM's blessing, because of my artwork, I think before battle, I have these little screw-ins on my shell where I put in these big metal spikes.
Hell yeah.
Okay. I feel like Gerard is a very rigid, kind of hard-ass, kind of a square, basically. Everything he does is for the order. So first thing in the morning, I'm going to make sure that all of my gear is clean and properly representing the order, that I take it serious. And then I'm going to kind of make sure the other guys are on top of all of their things, making sure that they're up at the right time, that they're getting ready as well. I kind of take it upon myself to make sure other people are doing what I think they should be doing, with or without their permission. So then I'm going to go and brush my beak. I'm going to curse Matt Mercer for making my fingers too fat to fit in my nose. So... but yeah, I feel like I probably follow a pretty strict regiment in the morning.
Okay.
And then once I feel I'm properly presentable, I'll make my way to wherever I need to be in the morning.
Okay. You slowly shepherd the other aspirants out of their beds.
Get your boots on. You look like shit. We have a very important day.
Slowly.
Taking
It's my kind of slow.
All right, cool. The night captain probably loves you. I'm just saying, when you run into him. That's gonna be interesting. All right. Kai, Ripley, you'll have to hang on for just a minute, because Coneromyces. Nero. Would you be a... Oh, I'm sorry. Nero, would you be a dear and head out to the grocer in the Dawning Quarter and bring back a barrel of Sky Carb? They forgot to deliver it last night, and breakfast is due within the hour. An older fauness, elder female faun, who runs the kitchens, named Aberdeen. Aberdeen is asking with an air of certainty that you can be counted on. Do you think you would have woken early to bake bread for the stronghold, or are you running on a schedule and this would interrupt your baking duties?
Or I think that I would always wake well before the dawn to bake the bread. Because if there's no bread, no one eats.
Praise be the loaf.
Praise be the loaf. I will have been awake for many hours. The bread is baked. It is resting. It is cooling. And Lady Aberdeen, I will happily go get your groceries.
She inhales deeply as she smells the fresh baked bread. Always on time, this one. She just she does one of these like she just took care of the job herself by delegating it to you because you're so responsible.
I pat a loaf next to me that is slightly different color. It's a little bit darker. I go, there's a fresh acorn one just for you.
She kind of does a little inhale, does one of these. Give me a presence roll.
Sure. All right. So dark is fear. Light's hope.
After you do your presence roll, describe yourself as well. I'm going to
I
come
will.
back to you later, Ox, because I think I missed having you actually describe
Oh no,
the
that's a
character.
17 with fear. I rolled a 12 on my fear die.
Well, the good news is you succeeded.
Okay, that's good.
But with fear. So I get a fear.
Not so good with the ladies, eh, Brad?
Absolutely not. I live to
You
serve.
you say it, and it comes out a little bit stronger and weirder than you intended it to. You kind of chirp a little bit. Your voice goes up an octave for half a second, and you seem a little too eager to have given her this. She's like, no,
Thank
please.
you. Please don't.
Thank you.
Please don't misunderstand.
No,
And
it's quite all right, Nero. I fully understand. I love acorn bread. I really appreciate you cooking this for me. Just don't get the wrong idea. And she kind of hurries out.
My large cap hangs, and I just go, great. And now she thinks I love her. Oh, Lord.
And that's how Fear and Hope works, people.
So, as this happens, Nero hangs his head. Nero is tall, slightly lanky. He's a little bit taller than a human. Kind of lithe and lanky. He doesn't have any defined musculature, being a fungal. He's just a giant fungus. He wears a very decayed robe of like yellows and greens and sage over also decaying leather armor. It all looks very old, very aged, but it's in as pristine condition as if you had pulled it out of a tomb and it was preserved but eaten by moths, basically. He walks with a slight hunch to his back, and his face is entirely hidden by his cap. So his face is always in darkness, as if the cap is releasing spores to help hide his face, so that only two purple eyes that are a little bit wide glow out. And his actual cap itself is a good 18 inches wider on either side than his head. It's about a 3-foot mushroom cap that droops slightly, and it's a acorn brown color with a light chestnut undertone. And if you ever see his flesh from under his clothing, it's like a cream color with brown striations and spots. He has an attitude, obviously very much so, of a butler or gravedigger of some kind. And is absolutely terrible with the ladies because he has worked in servitude his entire life. So I'll take a really deep breath and just go, I really, really hope everyone does not think I am in love with them when I make them a loaf. And I leave.
I hope they do. I hope you roll fear every time I ask you for presents.
What a great way to start the game. NPC thinks I love her.
All right. So you leave the kitchens area, the baked goods ovens, and you make your way out of what is the central structure of the stronghold of Eventide, and kind of meander this way and that. There's not a lot of people out just yet. It's still pretty early. The sun is really just rising. So you're heading to the dawning quarter. You exit the front gate of the stronghold. The front portcullis and sturdy ironwood doors are open and under close guard by soldiers of the order. A drawbridge lays steady across a 20-foot trench that spans between the portcullis and the stone causeway connecting the stronghold to the city of Tidriel. The city streets are just beginning to stir in the light of a new day, casting long shadows and beams of sunlight fill the eastern sky with majesty as griffins pulling sky carts arc out over the sea of clouds in the distance. It's almost like if you're sitting in an airplane and you look out the window when you're at cruising height, you look out and you just see a vast sea of clouds out over the cliffside, but it's like an ocean of that, rather than water.
Could I, as I cross the drawbridge,
gonna say, what else do you see and hear? This part's up to you. Like, what in this golden city? What do you think you would see, smell, hear?
So, as I cross the drawbridge, with every step, my wild touch pops off, and I leave footprints of mushrooms on the wood. Anytime I touch wood, I leave footprints of mushrooms where I stepped.
You're just mushroom stamping the city, sir? Am I hearing this correctly?
He is.
Really leaving your mark on society, are you?
As you meander across the drawbridge, you kind of look back and you see one of Ox's custodians kind of passing the gatehouse, looks over and sees you and double takes, looks down, sees the mushrooms sprouting up and like scurries over and starts to mop up behind you.
Master Cleaner. And I reach down and I'll pick one out and I just go, oh.
They look down. They look up. They shake their head. They keep scrubbing.
Thus ass mushroom.
I go, please pass my apologies to Master Ox, and I'll keep walking. As I hit the scene where it's like the clouds all around, I'll kind of spray, like twist my fingers, and spores will release, and I'll say a little prayer to the spore mother. I'm looking for and listening for just the sounds of trade, sounds of merchants. I would assume that we see the hustle and bustle of people at the early dawn.
Yeah, there's people kind of emerging from their houses and their apartments and making their way down. This city is pretty big, so this is kind of a central trade city. Multiple story buildings, huge towers that are kind of looking out over with that golden sandstone color to them. Domes on top of them. You're heading to the Dawning Quarter, and it's called the Dawning Quarter because that's where all the trade happens, and that's where people go in the morning. So you're kind of walking with traffic, but there's not a whole lot of traffic yet. They're all kind of still busying themselves around their house. It's pre-breakfast at this point.
Okay. Every if there are planters hanging on windows, if there are pots like that are not sprouting, every time I walk by, I'm just waving a finger, waving a hand, and I'm going to use Wild Touch on everything where things can grow, and I'm just making things grow. Flowers, not always mushrooms, like mostly flowers if it's people's homes.
Okay.
So, and just in case you don't know, that's the Wild Touch. It's a class feature of all druids, and I can perform a harmless, subtle effect that involve nature at will, such as causing a flower to rapidly grow, summoning a slight gust of wind, starting a campfire. Apparently, I can start campfires.
But yeah, it's dope. It's how you start the ovens in the morning.
There we go. That's how I start the ovens in the morning. But yeah, I'm just making the world a brighter place.
Roll me an instinct.
I don't want to.
I know.
Not again. And with fear.
10 with fear.
I rolled a 2 and an 8. I hate these dice already.
As you continue to walk and you're spreading...
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I forgot about my modifier. 12 with fear.
That makes a difference.
Good.
12 with fear. I gain a fear.
Guys, I'm so sorry that my magical flower growing is giving him power against us.
You continue to meander your way toward the Dawning Quarter, and you greet the few people you run into. You go to take a shortcut down an alley that you typically walk down on the way to the Dawning Quarter when you do have to go. And as you're making your way down this alley, a hand falls on your shoulder. And from a doorway in this alley, you hear a familiar voice.
Caneromyces, you are a slippery little bastard. You should have stayed hidden away with your self-righteous Eventide Knights. It's a dangerous place out here in Aeraset. You never know when someone will come along and ruin your day, or claim your life. Care for a slice of meat?
You look over your shoulder, and the half-undead visage of Harrow von Reithoff, a knight of the von Reithoff Necromancer Order, is looking at you, chewing on a skewer of meat, his hand on your shoulder, completely aloof, as if he was waiting in this doorway for you, as if he's been watching you.
Master Arrow, it is always a pleasure to see you.
Kai. Why did you head into Tidriel, especially early on this beautiful sunny morning?
I'm walking off a hangover.
Hell yeah. Who were you at the taverns with, or were you drinking alone?
I was looking for some fun last night and may have indulged a little too much and suffered a little consequences of a little bar brawl.
Did you end up sleeping in the city then, and now you're heading back?
I don't remember where I slept. I just woke up somewhere.
All right. Oh, but perfect. Describe yourself, Kai, as you make your way through the nearly empty streets back toward Eventide's stronghold.
Kai is adjusting his leather jerkin and straightening it out and is fixing his bandana, etc. and shaking off his cowboy hat, because he's got a cowboy hat, and getting the dust off of it and wiping himself off. He's got a monkey-like appearance. He's about just over 5 feet tall, very muscular looking, but at the same time rather thin framed. So he's stocky, and he's got a couple of scimitars attached to his back, and like I said, leather jerkin and like leather bandanas or belts going across his chest and his waist that help him hold on to his traveling gear. And he's cursing at the sun because of the sores he got from last night.
Oh, man. So you are kind of stumbling or meandering back toward, not in any hurry because you're hurting. Every time you like walk past an alley that's facing east and the sun shines over, you're just like, get away from me, son.
Grab my hat and just kind of like shield it
tuck
from my
it.
face from the sky. Yeah.
As you walk by one of these, you decide to turn west because you don't want to look at the sun anymore. And as you turn west into a back alley, you look ahead, and in front of you, you see Caneromyces and somebody chewing on a stick of meat with his hand on his shoulder. And I need you to roll an instinct check for me.
Instinct, okay. It's going to be a 11 hope.
11 with hope. You can tell immediately as you gain your hope, if you didn't already, that Caneromyces is uneasy with this person. This person is not somebody who Nero likes or wants near him.
I'm just going to stroll up nonchalantly, not even like acting like it's any attempt to go around them. Just be like, howdy, partner. What you guys doing this fine morning?
Oh, Master Kai. Good to see you. You look like
I
you
tip
could
my
use
hat
a
at
cup
him.
of tea.
Oh, I could definitely use something a little stronger than tea, but I'll take some tea. Would you kindly help me get some?
Aye. Oh, Master Harrow here was just leaving.
Kai, looking up at him, you see he looks like a older middle-aged man with very graying hair, like more so than it should be. One half of his face looks like it's basically dead. One of his eyes is completely white. And as he chews on the meat, you see his rotting teeth behind his lips as they curl back.
Kai's going to be a little recoiled at this. Pull off his guy. Golly gee, partner, you are one ugly SOB.
Roll me presents, man.
That's going to be a 17 with hope.
17 with hope.
At least one of us can roll.
Gain yourself a hope, sir. And as you say, you are one ugly SOB. Harrow stops chewing, and he kind of looks up and down at you as if he's sizing you up. And he looks over at Nero, and he looks at you. And you can tell he's thinking as he looks around to see if anybody else is there, if he wants to do anything less toward.
I'd like to take a moment to pat him on the hand that's holding my shoulder, like do one of these, and just go, now, Master Harrow. We both know your father would not like it if you started problems in this here city.
Don't worry, Caneromyces. I am in no hurry. I can see you have friends that need your attention. I will be here the next time you leave. I promise you.
He's just going to kind of
I would hope so.
stroll forward. He's going to look you up and down, Kai. He's going to say,
Master Kai.
My apologies if I was any rude to you, sir. Tip my hat to him and start
Not
walking.
at all, I'm sure. We
I
will
lean
have
in.
words later.
I lean into Kai and say loud enough for Harrow to hear. Go, well, nothing you said was fully off market there.
It's a harrowing appearance to be seeing in the early mornings when we're sleeping or recovering one off.
That's a good one, Master Kai. Harrow with the harrowing appearance. That's a good one. Right. You want to go do this shopping with me?
Are you escorting him to the Dawning Quarter, or are you heading straight back to Eventide Stronghold?
That's why I asked
Kai.
him to do this shopping with me.
I'd go with Nero.
Okay.
I'll buy you a spiked tea to get you going again.
Ripley.
Hmm?
Are you feeling drippy?
Quite drippy.
Do you sleep in past mornings, rooster crowing, or do you have a morning routine you'd want to walk through?
Well, no. Let's just roll with it.
You're sleeping in?
Yeah, I'm just sleeping in, just
All right.
What's that little guy
enjoying
look
the
like?
vibration of the water that I'm in.
I'm assuming, and I'm going to make this assumption because having slept in enough times here, and you've been here for at least a few months, if not longer,
Mhm.
that you would have found if you sleep in the bunk rooms, you're going to get caught early and not be able to sleep in. So
That's
tucked
why
away.
I'm sleeping. That's why I sleep in the custodian's closet.
Nice. So tucked away in a side custodian closet, you're snoring little bubbles into the bucket of water you're sleeping in. The muffled sounds of the rooster crowing reach your amphibious ears almost like a melody that lulls you back to sleep. I was going to ask you which room you're sleeping in, but you already answered that. What does the person who finds you see as they look at you this morning? One of the custodial staff, I will assume.
Well, they see. Just because he doesn't get up doesn't mean he's not awake.
Okay.
No. He's laying up against the inside of the mop bucket, and he's just putting the finishing touches on rolling himself morning J, a little wake and bake action.
So he's out of the water at this point?
No, he's just kind of like wading in the water, is kind of just
I see.
chilling.
I actually legitimately thought you were about to say you were water bonging.
Nah,
the custodial bucket.
nah. He's just
sleeping
he's
in
just
the
kinda-
water bong.
He's just kind of having a. He's just having a no bones morning, you know.
We have two
Oh, and
people on the
I gotta
team that
describe
wake
this.
up and bake immediately in the morning.
And it's
Let me describe this guy real quick because we almost missed that. He's obviously small enough to fit into a mop bucket. He's 10 inches tall. This ribbit is colored like a blue and yellow poison dart frog. Eyes are solid black, which is handy because he doesn't want him to be bloodshot. But he's wearing a leather jacket, and on the back it says it's stitched into the back leather of it, drippy. And he has tucked in the room somewhere with him his skateboard. I don't know where it would be right now. I'm preoccupied with other things like breakfast. Yeah. You just picture a poison dart frog in a vest that's roughly the height of a basketball, and you've got Ripley.
All right. Well, a rather large human, she stumbles in. She just kind of saunters in, and she looks down like she's about to reach down to grab the bucket to use it, and she notices you.
Morning.
I'm sorry. You're the... I see. Can I use that bucket?
Sure. Do I need to get out?
She thinks about it for a second. Roll presence.
Presence, she says. Let's go with... You said you add them together?
Yes, you add them together, give me the total, and then tell me which one
And
is
then add
higher.
my modifier as well.
Don't be a dummy like me and forget your modifier.
Yes, add your modifier.
So that's 15 with hope.
15 with hope. She shrugs. She says, "Don't see why not. Perfectly harmless, I suppose. I bet your slime, pardon my saying, probably does a nice job getting the grease off of things, doesn't it?"
Probably not, considering I don't have any slime, but that's fine. I'm not sweating it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it offensively.
No, I'm
She
not
kinda
sweating it.
wrings
You're
her
cool, bro.
hands.
You're cool. Do what you do.
She picks up the bucket with you in it and puts it on her little cart and just starts to wheel out.
So what's your name?
Name's Claire.
That's a nice name.
Yeah, thank you. Mother gave it to me. What's your name?
Ripley.
Well, Ripley.
Sorry, I'm not one for small talk. You got a light? As he's trying to look around for a light for his joint that he just finished.
Oh, sure. She pulls out like a crude, what I'll call a crude lighter. They go around and light torches and lanterns with it. It's a really actually quite large device that you kind of clip like a stapler, but it does the flint strike for you.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah. She does one of those a few
Thanks.
times and gets it lit.
All right, and then he's just leaving a trail of skunky smoke as he goes.
All right. And if you didn't add a hope for yourself, go ahead and do that as well.
Oh, yeah, I did not. Thank you.
Imagine trying to walk off with one of those at a party.
What a hope.
No, like one of those big lighters, you know? You leave a party and have like 3 or 4 Bic lighters. You can't be making it off with one of those.
Oxley Spurbane. As you make your way across the central yard, the training grounds at this point are empty. There's a sparring ground with like a brass ring around it where surrounded by training dummies that you've seen aspirants over the years beating their wooden swords on and practicing with their hammers and whatever. There's these big shield-shaped targets that are made for archery and just combat maneuvers. Off to on the other side of that same training ground, there's an obstacle course, just kind of overgrown with moss and luscious trees and vines and things that they don't want you to clean because they want that slick feeling of actual wilderness for the training. Sure. That obstacle course goes up to a couple ramps and to a scaffolding ramp that goes all the way up to a tower that's roughly 30 feet up. Between that tower and an adjacent one, there's a balance beam that goes across over the top of a big sand pit that they refill the sparring grounds from. Kind of would also cushion the fall of any aspirants who fall off of that balance beam up top. But you make your way through this central yard and look up at like what acts as the central keep. It's just on the other side. It looks like a little mini castle, little turrets and statues over the top of the portcullis and gate. It just leads to a single room where it's basically like a little throne room. It's the hearing room where the lady of the keep deals out justice when needed, receives visitors. As usual, she is sitting at the large table where she does her office work. She's had a beautiful purple tablecloth put over the top of it. She's dressed fully in her armor already. She is an elven woman of... You don't even know how old she is. She is apparently the founder of this order. Elves in this world, just because I know we're all used to elves in different worlds, live up to 350 years. So they're not as ancient as in like Lord of the Rings. But she looks up and sees you and she smiles a little. Oxley Spurbane, it's been a while since I've seen you. How are things?
Well, good morning, Lady Big E. How are you doing?
Quite lovely, thank you for asking.
Do I know what she's like, what her schedule looks like what's happening next? Is she going to be here in the office for a while, or?
Roll me a knowledge check.
Okay.
And then describe to me what she sees as she walks in, because I don't think you really gave yourself a physical description last
Oh, yeah.
time.
Sorry about that.
No, you're
okay,
good.
so 13 with hope.
13 with hope.
Hang on. And you said this was an instinct?
Knowledge.
Or knowledge. Okay. Yeah, so 13.
13, and you gain a hope. But you do fail, unfortunately. She, to you, is as mysterious as magic. She moves, and everyone respects her, and she speaks well, but you do not understand when she does the things that deserve her those things. She just has good presence. You see that she's in power. You believe she's in power. She's proven it a couple times, but she never really divulges any of her actual activities to anyone. She's a mystery.
Okay, then I'm just gonna go in and start my morning cleaning, making kind of dumb small talk with her. But
Okay.
you cleaned up all the realms yet?
She brushes her white locks of perfectly brushed hair over one pointed ear, and her cobalt armor with gold gilding all over the breastplate and the pauldrons glisten in the stained glass sunlight coming through behind her. Oh no, not yet, unfortunately. We are to ensure the tide stays even, Oxley. It ought not swell to a tsunami, nor sink beneath the reefs. Our sacred reliquaries certainly ensure the safeguarding of artifacts that we have, and that the surge of power that those artifacts might create in the world are under lock and key. However, and she starts to really pontificate, whether you're paying attention or not is completely ambivalent to what she's saying. She kind of does this sometimes. She just kind of goes off on a rant. However, the very air we breathe is that of magic. And she kind of leans back in her chair as she speaks. And she's looking up like she's just coming up with this for the first time. And magic at its core is change, Mr. Spurbane. Change will always come, aspirant, no matter how vigilant the protector, no matter the strength of the guard. We then must be like water, breaking against the shore of evil and reforming from the smallest ripples of the world into waves. Not too tall, nor too small. We must be even, determined, timeless. You know?
So, from the moment that she mentioned that magic was in the very air, he stops what he's doing, and he is paying attention to every single word she's saying. And at the end of it, so does that mean I fart magic?
She actively giggles. She stands up from her paperwork that's displayed all over. You see a couple maps. You see some tomes open in front of her, a stack of other books and pamphlets and letters on the other side. And she claps a couple times. And two servants who are halflings, both of them, kind of scurry in. And they're dressed in scholarly robes, and they start to kind of clean up her workspace while she wanders over down the steps to you. And she says, perhaps, if you try hard enough, you might fart magic. However...
You've said too much?
Do you fart at this point?
No. I have already made it up in my head that I am doubling down on this new aspect of training that I had been remiss in otherwise.
Hell yeah. However, I have seen you moving through your motions with diligence, and your sparring with young Master Kai has not gone unnoticed in the yard. You have been helpful to the aspirants, and I know, and she leans against the stone wall and looks around, I know you are our custodian, and you do a wonderful job, Oxley. So, thank you for that. But have you ever considered being an aspirant to knighthood?
Oh well, I don't know if the keep could do without the bathrooms being cleaned.
I'm sure you could still clean from time to time if that is your deepest desire. I would not want to dissuade you from that, but I think that you have more potential than you give yourself credit for. And she kind of puts a very tepid hand almost on your hand, but doesn't actually touch you. Like she's trying to comfort you, but then realize something in her kind of pulls back. Can't really tell why she doesn't. But it's almost like she doesn't want to all of a sudden.
So are you saying I can clean the realms?
Yes, you could be... That is a wonderful way of looking at it, Oxley. You could be the custodian of Roinder, our whole country could benefit from your cleanly diligence.
Blushing intensifies tenfold.
Tell you what,
I
there's an exercise happening this evening. It's very hush-hush until the night captain announces it. She kind of looks up as if she's standing on ceremony, but doesn't really want to ruin the fun of it either. I will put your name in as part of the team participating, and if you like it, perhaps you join a retinue. Go off.
I would
Try
be
it
on
the
a team,
sides. Yes,
a real one.
absolutely. Is that a problem?
No, no problem. I've trained my entire life for this.
Wonderful. Well, when you hear the call over the loudspeaker, your name will be on it. So, answer the call. Shoo-shoo. Work to do. All that.
One last question. When you say custodian of the realms, does that include murdering baddies? Smashing baddies?
She doesn't turn back to acknowledge the question. However, she does answer it as she walks away. She says, "We don't murder, Oxley, we cleanse."
And I'm going to turn to her and big ass wink. Right you are, miss. And I'm out. I'm ready to do this.
Oh, man.
I need my mop.
All right.
Oh my god.
You'll never regret this.
Nero and Kai, you had made your way down to the Dawning Quarter. You found the fishmonger. You picked up your barrel of sky carp. He loaned you a hand cart to get it back to the
There's a
stronghold.
water barrel down there. I would have dunked his head in it.
Absolutely did. Roll me a, let's say, a knowledge check, quick.
20 fear.
Stacking up the fear. 20 with fear. You pass. But you find that barrel of water. You absolutely find it. And you know which vendors to look at. However, what you didn't notice as you stuck your face in the water was that it was a barrel full of eels. The eels were all sleeping at the bottom of the barrel, and when you stick your head in the water, they all come up and try and bite your face.
Oh, no.
Hate it when that happens.
What's your evasion?
13.
They do not succeed. Your eyes go wide in the water and you scream. It kind of like echoes off the water as you pull out. And you see the eels kind of...
Well, that's one way to wake yourself up in the morning.
Master Kai, don't you believe a cup of coffee would have been better than a barrel of eels?
I'm getting to it.
Right, you are.
All right, you guys made your way back to the stronghold. Gerard, what would you have done prior to breakfast? It is now breakfast time. You go to sit down. Do you have a group that you would typically sit with? Do you kind of spread yourself amongst the other aspirants freely?
Oh, I spread myself freely for sure, sir. That's no, I think I probably have a very small group of people that I respect enough to want to sit with every day. I think Gerard kind of sees a lot of these people as unworthy, unfortunately.
Okay.
But yeah, I think I'd probably have a small group that I typically sit with and talk trash about the new aspirants.
Okay. You sit down in the hall. It's kind of a big mess hall. Lots of little tables, kind of like a lunchroom from a high school sort of thing. Round tables, rectangle tables, tables of oak, tables of maple. They're all different kinds of tables, but they're all in this big hall in the outer wall chambers. As you're eating, Nero and Kai kind of stumble out of the kitchens. Obviously, having just come from somewhere together, they sit down at a table. Ripley, do you go to breakfast typically, or do you try and find food after?
Yeah. And so yeah, I was probably riding in Claire's cart bucket, and I see the food the cafeteria, I would assume.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
Mess hall.
all right,
Sure.
mess hall. All right, Claire. Well, this is my stop. Here, you can have the rest of this. And he sets it down on her cart, and it's still smoldering. And then, he steps in. He hops off out of the bucket, leaving little frog footprints on the ground. And as soon as he steps into her shadow, he disappears.
And what ability is that?
Because as a Nightwalker rogue, I can move. I'm a shadow stepper, so I can move from shadow to shadow. And when I step into a shadow cast by another creature or object, or into an area of darkness, I can mark a stress to disappear from where I am and reappear on the other side of the shadow within far range.
Okay.
So I just kind of bamfed out of there.
Mark a stress. And you absolutely do. Where do you reappear?
Do I see anyone I recognize?
Come on, hop up next to Girardi.
Gerard is sitting with a group of aspirants. There's definitely free space around him as people are coming and going, finishing eating and moving on. Nero and Kai just entered the room. They go to sit down as well. You don't see Ox anywhere just now.
Yeah, I'll appear in the shadow underneath Gerard's table and then like clamber my way up next to him. It's like, what's up, dude?
Ripley, you smell like
Carrots,
jungle
carrots,
cabbage
bro.
again.
What's up?
You're wasting your potential. So much potential, Ripley.
Yeah, I heard it all before. What's up, man? What are you eating?
Oh, same thing we always eat.
Large order of
Porridge.
flies?
Plenty of fly babies in it, I'm sure.
Hang on. Did you just puff pash and then poof away for a breakfast hash?
Yeah.
Totally radical, dude.
Gotta get my grind on, bro.
As all that's going on, Ox, you're riding high on the hog right now. You feel good. You walk out into a hallway near the mess hall, and you look over, and you see Claire, one of your regular staff, is picking up an illicit substance, and she's taking a hit off of it right now. How do you feel about that?
Well, there's only one thing to do in these situations. I approach her, and mid huff, I squeeze her nose and open her mouth, and I straight ghost steal that hit, and then snatch the roach out of her hand, and that was a close thing. You were almost had by the hazy cabbage. I will dispose of this, and I'm gonna continue walking into the cafeteria, and I'm just gonna eat it.
Just eat.
Yeah,
You just suck the
Start
head out
chewing
of
it.
her and eat the roach. Jesus.
I'm here for my staff.
I don't think there's any checks for fortitude kinds of things in this game. So yeah, you eat it. Mark a stress? That's kind of a... Yeah, mark a stress. That seems...
I feel like stress is the equivalent to like fortitude things where you push your body a little too far.
Yeah. As breakfast is kind of going and wrapping up and everything, you all hear from... I'll call it a loudspeaker for the moment, but it's really kind of a magical voice echoing off of all the halls, coming from nowhere in particular.
Will the following aspirants please report to the training grounds for a surprise test? Gerard Graves, Ripley, Oxley Spurbane, Kiniromyces Kildari. Is it Kildari? It's Kildari, right?
Coldary, but close
Kildari.
enough.
God damn it, you and your long fucking names.
You damn right.
Kai Azurepaw, Lieutenant Denesto Prell, Humphrey the Horned, Scruff, Sendall Tails, Tenny Toes, and Tuskerl. Please report again to the Knight Captain at the training grounds. That is all.
And we'll see you next time for Session 2 of Daggerheart Open Beta.
All right.
Fuck yeah.
Thank you so much for listening. Please make sure to check out our website at deadsunsco.com for the latest news and social links. If you like our content, please consider supporting us at patreon.com/deadsunscompany.